Come on down and see Donkey Kong Show. Got 412 barrels ready to roll on your market set and ready now go. There's 75 you can speed around, so you better not be too slow. Try and come and see a giant gorilla who's on swells way atop the pie factory with Penelope your hoe. Floating hammers in the air and danger everywhere. Try to reach the top and take me down if you dare. Donkey Kong Show. You know the rules. Enter the building one at a time. Good luck to you. Hello, this is the first Donkey Kong Show, and I'm broadcasting live from here in um, lovely Lakeside, California, east of El Cajon, southeast of Santee. El Capitan High School is way over that way on John Wayne movie side. I used to live in a boarding care called Calgary's Lodge over on the Peckerwood side, over on the other side of Winter Gardens. It's just going to be a show of random married mumblings. Just talk about my writing career, if you want to call it one. This and that, some sports. Not too much news. I'm going to try to keep it not too political. When I talk about my crazy life, I will switch people, not use people's real names. I will change them or use a nickname. And I was supposed to launch this 2 weeks and a day ago, but I ended up getting a gnarly, life-threatening strep infection. I had to go. Luckily, my buddy Logan, who I encouraged this because of the lazy readers and slow readers in our Facebook, our career limited Facebook group. It's kind of a group for stuff you wouldn't post in front of your like more serious and grown up friends, you might say. And it's just for a lot of crazy. That mostly people were doing crazy memes. I didn't even know how to download a meme. I never gave a toss one way or another about memes. But my buddy Albert, I thank him for inviting me too. And I was posting the crazy stories about my life. I was gonna write a book where my first book, Undigestible Food for the Mind. It was an autobiography about all those crazy 5 crazy episodes and dealing with the mental health system and all this nutty stuff. 5 episodes that happened to me in high school. Oh, I thank Logan for buying that book. I think he's the one that pointed out that used copies are going for $900 and $1,600. You couldn't give those things away before. I hadn't looked up the price. I used to Google it all the time and look it up. And you can barely give those things away. Like say 6 years ago, I could see them for $4 or $6. So hopefully something blew up. But I'll talk it around to the writing stuff about my new project, my new fantasy and stuff, which I might have a movie deal. The first book is called A Shortcut to Elysium, but I'll talk more about that. But my soul sister Mika Mouse. I want to give a third shout out to her for going back and forth. She's the one that's got connects. I don't know anybody. She was the one going back and forth between Hollywood and Manhattan and just trying to. She got me my first 4 books accepted by Penguin Publisher, which is awesome. They just merged with Random House, so they're like 1B. Used to be the second best company in the world. Now you could call them 1B after Random House. They just joined that monopoly of writing. And she like preferred dealing with the Hollywood people, but I at least like the Penguin's ready to go. The first I heard about this deal in 2010, the night Mount Carmel, my beloved Sun Devils. I'm gonna talk about them. And my homeland is really not Lakeside out here, but the Death Star, which is Poway, Penasquitos, Rancho Bernardo, now Sabre Springs, Carmel Mountain Ranch, and Del Norte. I suppose the Scared Crows is in Forest Ranch, somewhere behind Westwood. I knew a kid whose dad used to own a strip of that land. He must have made a fortune if he's still alive. John Lindsay, the hitter, used to kill the shit out of me. And Pop Warner, he was our tough starting right guard and a middle linebacker. My first 2 years, I was just a punching bag on the junior midget Wildcats, and my first Pumas team, who sucked. We won the Avocado Bowl my first year, but I was just a whipping boy for them. And it's my second year was the one losing year we had. I mean, we were scrappy. We had Johnny T-Jack, a great running back. And too bad those guys couldn't make weight for my third team, the Pumas, which was really our best team. We had 8 shutouts in 9 games. Penasquito scored on us in the practice game. I'll tell you about my first acid trip when Jeff Neese and Jamie Garza, my best friend from Ramona, dosed me. Oh, big praises Jamie Garza for taking us in. We were homeless before ninth grade. My first day, she about a month and some change at Mount Carmel. We were actually living up in Ramona at my friend's house. We got evicted from our casitas apartment. That's as low as it gets in Rancho Bernardo, which ain't half bad. I hear those apartments are pretty ghetto now. There's a lot of meddlers and weirdos living there back in the day. But yeah, it's about as low. It's across the street from the Westwood Club. But anyways, yeah, that was an awesome one. Jamie Garza to take us in. You know, before at some point during 10th grade, we were homeless again. We lost the house momentarily in Lower Poway with my brother's dad, who was my mom's boyfriend since early when I moved back from Western Pennsylvania out near Gettysburg. I was born in Joplin, Missouri, by the way, where Dumbo starts, and I moved to Lower Poway in 1974, in June of 1974, a couple months before my fourth birthday. And John Taskett happened to live. He was a 285 pound, 300 pound freshman, 14 years old, lived like five doors down on Celestial Road up at the top of the hill in the grubby part of Lower Poway, which ain't bad, but it's pretty sketchy as far as Poway goes. But it was a really hot neighborhood, a really fun neighborhood. Back in those days, I remember this garage band doing Boston covers. Oh, and big up to my St. Louis Blues. I am so jazzed that they finally won. I never thought they were going to win a Stanley Cup. Oh, this is so awesome. I'm still tingling from last night. I thought there was no way they're going to win Game 7 in Beantown. But yeah, them Blues came out, didn't they? And yeah, I'm kind of hunched down. This is my bed where I've been known to have some batches and even goof around. It's got so bad I've goofed around with webcam slinks and time. More on that another time, but too much information. Hey, but I got my the first three notebooks from when I finished book 5. I just started book 6 the night before I moved out here, or possibly a couple days. I moved here back home. Big shout out to my mom for letting me move back home. See, it's not a basement. You can't see the window the windows over there, but we got a pool. It's a $500,000 McMansion. It took me about 3 days to get used to. I moved back home, and I moved out when I was in 1990. April Fool's Day, which I moved many times, quite a few other times on that day. But I moved to a barrio in a Vista. This is a culture shock. I was going to Palomar College. A big shout out to the Comets. And I was a little emperor of Palomar College in the early '90s, and so that was a lot of fun. But we lived in a guest house. We rented a guest house. Me and my boy, we'll just call him Whopper. I've talked about him a little bit in some of my writings for that Facebook career limiting Facebook group I told you about. And but yeah, he was my first roommate. A lot of my former friends. We have a lot of mutual friends. I did bring Parallax down on him the night of that Deontay Wilder Brazil fight. But oh, never mind. I'm digressing again. But yeah, I only moved back home one time though. Right before I got accepted to San Diego State. 1999, I moved back home for September of '99. But I did the Alamos and the Zulu Dawn apartments for 23 years. It was fun. There's things I missed. My little brother and his girlfriend are right on the other side of the wall here. My mom having to tiptoe my fantasy life, my wanking, having tossing around my mom and my brother and his girlfriend. They blocked about 17 of my punts this year. That's probably one of the worst parts. It's not the best thing for your mojo. I think I've maybe had about 9 figs since I moved back to it. That's pretty hurting right now. God, I wish I could get my day in the sun to make, with my books or movie deal to start making up for lost time on that. But who knows? If it happens, it happens. If not, I still know I'm one of the best writers. I got 3 of my tubs full of notebooks. There's another whole drawer full. Here's the current one. That's notebook 124. My fantasy stuff. I never did a lot of fantasy. I used to write a lot of dark fiction, satire, quirky modern stuff, romances that were like both sometimes comedy, drama, romances. A lot of times with white boys going out with Middle Eastern chicks was some of the themes, but others too, other like white on white or this or that. Yeah, I got to do quite a bit. I've done almost 27,000 pages, and I only had 5 books done when I moved back home. The Penguins only seen books 1 through 5. They greenlighted books 1 through 4, but you weren't crazy about number 5. I was working at going to this meeting place called kind of a clubhouse for adults with serious severe mental illnesses, and so that took up a lot of my energy. And I was made All Stars in 2009, and by the summer of 2010, I was one of the lucky ones who got a job at the Ultra Star Theater in Mission Valley with AMC's on both sides. It was a little 7 theater, kind of like old school, a very scrubby old theater. But it was a great job. I God bless him. My boss was really cool, Joe. He played for Patrick Henry, who me and my friend at Dago saw them get Marlon Carey running wild on him. He got called up as a sophomore to that Patrick Henry game. Ricky Williams was a senior that year. He said Marlon Carey was the best running back he ever saw. God bless Marlon. He's doing 108 years. I'll get around to him, but I talk quite a bit about my beloved Sun Devils. And that's part of my homeland. Yeah, it's a sad that one of the night I learned about the movie deal with that happened to be with Sony, but it wasn't settled yet. The night my last Sun Devil game, I destroyed this Westview coach, and I regret it. But it is what it is. I was pissed off. I was in a reptile room. The video ended up going viral, and I can't believe I didn't get arrested or kicked out of the game. I'm staying in East County just because the pigs might still see me as a person of interest. When a couple weeks after that, I was coming back from downtown, and these two San Diego before cop cars boards of about 4 San Diego pigs were arresting this homeboy who they found cocaine on, and they go, "Oh, thank God, good thing for Ricky that we're busy with this badass." Or and then I was a clue that hey, I gotta try to limit how much I go into San Diego, and unless I have a ride, I can't be riding going on field trips. Like when I first moved back home, I was still going to SeaWorld and shit in North County, going up to the Death Star and cruising around or this or that, and yeah, I missed that. It was a lot of it sucks. East County is nice. I think it mirrors North County more than any part of San Diego. Yeah, great. I used to live like 15 minutes from no, oh no, when I was in Lemon Grove, it was about a 15-minute walk from Helix. It was about the same from my maybe 20 minutes, a half hour from my apartment in college. Or it was on 63rd, and I lived there for 13 years on the nose. 13 years and 2 days from June 1st. I had another apartment when I transferred. I had a roommate, Jeremy. He was 20 years old, turned 21 when I was roommates with him. I was 29. I was just got accepted to state. Just got accepted for my first book, Undigestible Food for the Mind, as I mentioned. And he had about a house full, pretty much 20 kids a lot of the nights. It was wild. It was hard to study, but God bless him. I had this other roommate, Calvin, this Taiwanese boy, and I'll get more into him. He ended up going to federal prison for a year and a half, and his buddy one. The only one I liked of his friends who was my age, and the only one that spoke good English out of him. I'm glad to hear that Calvin's. His name was actually Kai Hung Lang, to be honest. I don't know, but what a funny name. But he was in my tennis class at Grossmont when I was one semester. No, that was my last semester at Grossmont. I still had tennis, and then the math class after. Oh no, that was my second to last semester at Grossmont. I had tennis, and the math that's right after intermediate algebra. Which I have good number skills, but I dropped intermediate algebra 7 times, and I was at Palomar. I was too busy being the emperor with thousands of friends. Maybe I was a clown though too. You can look at it either way, maybe a trickster or a clown, but I had thousands of friends at Palomar College, and I had half the basketball team, all the brothers coming over, and all that. My second crib in San Marcos was a half-mile away, but I've said to many in those stories about how I ended up moving to Patrick I won't say his last name, but if you know him, you know him. Just Jap Japanese dude that well, we moved out. I kept him from being homeless, and his family actually owned the house I lived at in Penzon when we moved. My family, when I moved with my grandparents. That's when me and mom left Western Pennsylvania on my 7th birthday. It's a shit show out there. We bailed him on my 7th birthday, and grandparents dropped big up to them. That's another shout out. They dropped everything they did and left Joplin, Missouri to go back. They go back to California, where my great grandma Leona lived in Escondido, but then we moved to San Marcos. We had a nice house over there, and I went to Richland Elementary School in 2nd grade. That was my least favorite year. 1st grade was my second least. At Pomerado, I went to Pomerado in kindergarten and 1st grade. I had a girlfriend in kindergarten, Iris, and we went on the teeter totter every day during recess or during lunch or whatever. And yeah, but she broke up with me the first day of 1st grade. Said I was silly, and I was a total loner. And I had in 2nd grade, I had a little 4-man, that kind of Clockwork Orange crew. It was a pretty posh school. There were a few Mexican gangs, and we never got beat up or anything. But they just managed us. I had a really mean teacher. Miss Ehlers was a bitch, to be honest. But I don't know. I was pretty out of it too. But when we moved to Westwood, that was my happiest house. But from 3rd grade through 7th grade, it was with my grandparents, and then they got their own apartment. And John, my mom's boyfriend, John, the ogre mad guy, the Green Gang, he got his shit together when my brother was born. He's one that owns and makes all this stuff. He's the one, the paper millionaire, the 2%er that puts all this, makes all this possible. This $500,000 mansion out here with a pool. And we got a gardener comes on Saturday morning, and maids come every other. So shout out to him. Maids come every other Monday. We got a pool guy that does that every Monday. So wow, it's like Taj Mahal life. It wasn't hard at all to get used to. So yeah, but one of the inspirations for this YouTube channel is, like I said about the slow readers, and some people freaked out because I wasn't doing the memes for the career limiting Facebook group that I joined. Yeah, it's just to get some just to get some feedback. Maybe I wanted to write. I did start a stillborn book. I got 80 pages into a thing called the Comet Griffin Trail that was supposed to take off from when my first book ended up until I got accepted to San Diego State in 2000. I was there for spring of 2000. Steve Fisher's 5 and 6 inaugural team, and it was pathetic. But the second year they were 14 and 14. My third, I went three, and it only took me 3.5 years, and I only went part time to the dang part time the last 2 semesters. I got a 8 or 9 B's, 12. 8 or 9 A's, 12 B's, and only 3 C's. I thought I'd be cracking my head open and staying up all night to just to get C's, but it turned out I actually surprised myself and did quite well with the studying and stuff. And just socially, San Diego State was the hardest thing I ever did. I only made 1 friend. No, 2 if you count some guy that was selling kind diaries. I won't mention his name or the. I'll probably talk about the this kind of a goth type ghoul with this hot girlfriend. I played Dungeons and Dragons with his buddies. 3 anything after 2.0 is for pussies. And to give it, this was supposed to be the first shout out, but I'm going to show you my goddess and my god and the picture of the ancient mighty one that I've referred to in many of my stories, so you get a better idea of what that was and how I ended up being the scapegoat when I brought this thing out of the abyss or the 5th dimension or whatever it's from. The first try with only 1 candle, a black book that I had to rip off, and only a moderate interest in the occult. I did it on my first try with tons of Yehudi Jews back for 4,000 years who tried to raise this thing, even though that's considered an unforgivable sin, even in the Old Testament. But Yeah, I did it on my first time. I married witches, not just them. I mean, all kinds of occultists and Aleister Crowley on down, and he didn't try to do what I did and actually did. But let me show you Ishtar, the Babylonian goddess of love and war, my goddess, who is the main character of these fantasy books, real quick. Oh, a big shout out to Gary Gygax. Here's an old collector guide. Remember this fucking idiot? Deities and demigods, but I don't know if Donkey Kong doesn't want, if Nintendo doesn't want me to use their name, I'll gladly change it. But for the, I do have permission to use the ideas that I got from also from this book, the second edition manual, the planes, which is a part of the, a big part of these, of the where the settings are in for these books, the different outer planes. And I have permission from TSR Hobbies. And even though with the last movie and book deal, I heard that my Mickey Mouse raised my percent from 1.3% to 2.5%. She figured a double. I'd have to sacrifice my merchandise, but that's fine. I want them to play D&D. If they make an accompaniment for just fantasy stuff that's based on, you know, like the current role playing games, even if it's 3.5, which is for tons too. But in first edition day, old school D&D is my favorite, but second edition was pretty rough too. Not that I haven't been in the game since 2008 when I burnt the bridge. That one friend I just told you about, but all of my buddies, we all figured out that we played D&D up until ninth grade, but then we got thought we were gonna be like labeled as goons and nerds or whatever, and you know, chose to put it down in ninth grade. And we had a big party at my house in Sally, and 14 people, even some old fools, and one guy who played the offensive line for Billy Bean at Mount Carmel back in the day, and this other guy that when my parents came home early and there was weed all over the table and beer cans everywhere, and and John goes, "What's up, Steve?" And all my friends tricked out. Dude, that's yeah. All right, but it would be tricked out that Steve was. Everyone knew that we didn't know that Steve was friends with my brother's dad. Dude, that's crazy. All right, but I want to show you Ishtar real quick. She's hot. There she is. There's my lovely goddess Ishtar. You can see her. Yeah, she's nectar and she's powerful and mighty. And she's a swashbuckler, and she's a real daredevil, and a really, really tough chick. I'm really gnarly. I'll talk more about her. Oh, let me show you Vishnu. My God, it's actually in Hinduism. I go by the 758,916. I think that's like one day to God. What he does with the earth, days it kind of takes 311. You can figure it out. The formula it takes 311 trillion years to reach the actual Godhead. I look at it like we're maybe level 3, and there's 14 levels. So if you end up spending a million years, I don't think hell. I think at the most, if there is even a hell, maybe 10,000 years, and you'd be out. And we, you know, go on to other things. No matter what you did, nothing's forever. It's not just a big old. I don't think God would like have a frying pan that's there to settle everyone's scores or what have you, but I'm not gonna get too much into religion on this channel. Here's Vishnu. In his Avengers form, though, is the one I worship. He's gonna come back and end the. I hope I live to see it. Vishnu will come back 4 arms chopping. He'll know all the down pressures, names, and addresses, and he'll just clean everything off. And then within about 10 minutes, the Iron Age will be over. I hope he gets here before Jesus, but we'll see. There's Vishnu. God of light and mercy, but I'll show you the ancient mighty one. I'm not going to get too much into that today. Wow, it's already been 24 minutes and I'm still on the introduction. But this is basically how it'll be, just random myriad of mumblings. And you'll have people that don't like to read too much. It's all words. It's like more of a quagmire. You know, I understand. I'm not such an avid reader. I got my degree in English lit, but I've only read maybe 8 books since I moved back maybe 12 books. I graduated 10 or something. I don't know, not that many. I read myself dyslexic. I downloaded. I almost got beat by a scammer on Twitter, and then I figured out, oh, you want me to send him the numbers of this card? I didn't know what a Google Play card even was. I thought it was this Polish porn star that suddenly was sending me all these messages. I never heard her. Well, it sounds so almost plausible. She's in LA. Then I looked. I put her through the Twitter. It's like, oh yeah, there's another one with like 2,500 followers. Why is she talking to me on this? One with like 7 followers. And then I figured out it was a scam when whoever is probably some 300-pound goon in Minnesota trailer park or something tells me, oh yeah, scan me the number. I'll walk you through it. Oh fuck you. That's when I unfollowed. Like, oh, Google Play Card. I got a Salman Rushdie book. I plan on reading Aquaman. I got an Aquaman movie. I never knew how the Google store worked. I got an Aquaman and a Thor Ragnarok on my computer. I watched both movies. Oh yeah. So we're this way. These are some of his friends. Some of his fault. I saw this one. This mighty store. His half brother on the day after I lost my marbles when I was 16 in Lake Arrowhead. Here's the mighty one. Here's the ancient mighty one that I told you about. There you go. See, 100 foot octopoid. It's thing about Lord Voldemort. Some people called me out about, oh, you Lord Voldemort, when I wouldn't say his name at the, when I got in a fight with that coach. I said, no, this thing will give Lord Voldemort a dirty look, and he just explode into a trillion pieces. But check out this other thing. I fought this thing. Oh, and we had a dungeon with this thing in it. Boys never reached it during when we resurrected the campaign. After that party of me and Whopper D and his brother Bink and Patrick and Nick Faircone and a few people. This isn't talking about age. We kept the thing going. Occasionally there's the other guys. We had a game of about eight players. Oh, and 4 of us saw my grandfather's poltergeist come out dressed in a dress. The Japanese soldiers there made him come out in a dress. We were in Indian burial ground. That's where Patrick took me to. We learned that apartment at Indian burial ground like a week after I moved there. And then we went back to get a second load of stuff at my old apartment on Knoll Road right by Palomar. And all that, this kitchen was huge. It had so many drawers. All of them were pulled out even all the way out. And even, oh, fuck, where did you move me to, Patrick? That was day one. But more on that another time. But I guess that's enough of the introduction. Let me look at the outline and see what's second and try to. Yeah, it's already been a half hour just on the introduction almost. Right, this is easier than I thought. It's very therapeutic. I think I'm gonna like this. But I got some other I got my books, my movie collection, my comic books. Let's see what's second. Oh, video games. Well, what a PlayStation stick is. Today I'm playing the Florida Gators, who I always pretend is Torrey Pines. I'm in my I can't believe it's only been 48 seasons. It feels like more, but in this parallel universe, I'm 92 years old. That's the game I play the most. I have about 20 PlayStation games. I have a soccer. I play quite a bit. Boxing. And I have a Sonya Mirza doll for tennis. A hot Indian chick that I run sometimes. I got Diablo. I'm close to this on level 4, Act 4 of Diablo 3. I'm close to finding the stairway to heaven. It's been a little bit of too much of a dungeon crawl. I flipped over. I loved on PlayStation 2 and in the arcade, the old Gauntlet Dark Legacy. I flipped that one over 3 times. Oh, when I was at San Diego State, I got the 3rd highest score in that game in the nation. And the game started over at the beginning and started crackling and sizzling. This Japanese, I don't know, he might have been Vietnamese or something. This Asian bloke at the arcade. There used to be an arcade right behind the Jacks in the Box. Dare you break my game? Dare just turn over. I didn't break it. And this thing was, before that, this thing popped up and said you should consider a career in the military. But it took me exactly 24 hours and changed my life at under clock, Yeah, I had it on the one for PlayStation 2, which had even more levels. It was deeper, though. But anyway, yeah, I'm a gamer. That's my 3rd stick. First stick is writing, of course. And I'm almost done with the book 17. My fantasy. So I have 10 other books plus 2 published. So this is my 29th book I'm almost done with. I think I'm one of the best in the world, but it's subjective, Mickey Mouse believes that, or she thinks I'm the best. If she's without her connects, none of this stuff would even be possible. It's out there. I mean, who knows if this is ever really gonna happen. I mean, she has a cackled She cackles on her website. She gets like when she does her slink show. She's also a porn legend. She says that's like been with over 5,000 members. She remarried her. I think it's the same guy. That I'll talk more about him maybe another time. But yeah, but she's the one with the connects, anyways. And she's a porn legend. She does her slink shows and she gets like 5 million followers. So I think that's the number they use. And I think it's Revelation chapter 13. And you could call her the harlot, and me the scarlet beast. That Mount Carmel's color is scarlet, but some people, a lot of people, millions of people believe that. It's also been said that we're the two biggest bitches in the world who ever lived. That's what, I don't know. I mean, she's a trip. That's kind of funny, but yeah, she's the one that makes the chance that I could blow up with this. But anyways. Well, I digressed again. I was talking about gaming. Yeah, I'm gonna play the Gator. I have a lot. There was probably 8 games I cheated with the weak Aztecs when I was still out in realistic scores, regular scores for about 8 seasons. But then, after a while, just like on the old PlayStation 2005 and 10 and and whatever they were, eventually your team evolves into a Charizard and there's no competitive game. But I have quite a snowboarding and this and that, quite a few games. But my brother's gonna I have an Atari 2600 with like 38 games. I'm asking my brother if he could order me some joysticks. That's all it needs. It still works. So hopefully we'll be able to these cheap modern flat screens can rock Atari. We want to try to get that going. But all right, let's see what's next. Yeah? Hold on, my mom's at the door. Yeah? Yeah. I'm doing my YouTube channel. I just started it. I'm going. Don't worry about it, Mom. Just go cook. Okay. Okay, I have to go take my. I've had my. I had surgery. So I've switched from. I found out. Well, I switched from insulin to from metformin to insulin. I have to go take my shot. So I guess I'll cut this one short. I gotta go down and eat lunch and do this shot. Oh, I dodged the bullet though. Thanks to Logan though, he told me to go to the hospital. I thought this thing was just a boil only, and that wasn't the case. There was a boil, but I just made it worse. I'm trying to pop this thing and toughen it out for like 2 extra days when I had probably 103 fever. It was still at the peak of it 2 Wednesdays ago, the day I was gonna launch this YouTube channel, and so yeah, it's my first surgery on my scrot and upper thigh last Tuesday of last week, and so far the infection's over. I just finished the antivirus yesterday, and I'm bouncing back nicely, and so I gotta go deal with this now. I got 4 or 5 more topics. So I wanted to just about to talk. Oh, and shout out to Olivia Rodrigo and Madison Wu because I've been thinking about doing my own YouTube channel before from the Bizarre Bark show. I don't know if it got canceled. I think they're just making new ones. I'm not sure, but yeah, I think those are great shows. They blow away all that Chico and the Man and Sanford and Son and Good Times. Those are all in the family, all that racialist stuff, Jefferson, and you couldn't do today. I think it blows them away, but really blows up like Facts of Life and Punky Brewster, Different Strokes, Webster, all that kid shit that we grew up on. I think it just annihilates those. I won't concede Land of the Lost and Sid and Marty Krofft shows like Boot, HR Puff and stuff, Stigma the Sea Monster, the Boogaloos and stuff like that. But anyways, I gotta go. This has been fun. I'll pick it up again. That's just the introduction to Donkey Kong Show. And catch you around. You know the rules. Enter the building one at a time. Good luck to you. All right, bye-bye.